Hi everybody, welcome back. Another incredible week with Veve. Does these three things set up the trifecta perfect storm for buying? So this week I finally was able to KYC and get Cashout. I've been talking about it literally since I started talking about Veve almost a year ago. Basically it was quite easy. It took literally, I timed myself, 4 minutes. I had to show my driver's license, a bill, take a picture of myself. They had some sort of AI or something like that that worked, and then I was verified. Boom, done. So then, of course, the button appeared that allows me to cash out. You have to have a minimum of 1,000 gems, but you can cash out to crypto or fiat. I didn't actually do it. I don't have 1,000 gems right now, but it's obviously there, and numerous people have reported that it's possible. Very slick. There are some fees associated with that. I'll let you guys look into that, but they're not too exorbitant. I'm sure I only say it in that way because some people think they're too much. I feel like they're fair, but I'll let you decide on your own. So it's really exciting, and there was also a monthly update by the Veve team. You could tell they were sitting up straighter in their chairs, and I think they should be quite proud of their accomplishment, especially over the past couple of weeks. We know that everybody got the web app. Now everybody is enabled to KYC. Everybody will have the potential to cash out. So lots of hard work, I'm sure, went into it. I give them total credit. And it really allows them to be right on the precipice of really opening up the doors for the app, because we know that they're going to be at San Diego Comic-Con along with 100,000 other people in the Marvel booth with 7 employees there helping onboard people. So it's very exciting. So all of these things have been reported really over the last 48 hours. It's been a whirlwind of news, so it's exciting. But what am I doing? What are my thoughts on it? And I think it creates kind of this odd perfect storm for buying, and let me explain it. So when you think about buying, it's just, as I've repeated over and over again on this channel, it's this whole, buy low, sell high. And when the market is excited and pumping, everything is moving up, it's very, very difficult to figure out, what's the low point. And you can look at historical data. We don't know, it's another thing they said that's coming, right, is what the actual value things were sold. We can only see the floor price. It gives you a good indication. And so what we do know is over the last, literally 6 months, things have been falling. There's a variety of reasons for that. I've talked about that on this channel. And now, even with all this great news, it's even falling more. And most likely it's because of these three things. First, everybody knows that there's going to be probably some unannounced drops for San Diego Comic-Con, and they did announce some of them. For example, they're dropping the first appearance of Silver Surfer, which if you follow his channel, I'm a huge Silver Surfer fan, so I'm super excited for that one. And so people are selling things to get gems to buy those fun drops. The second thing is the cash out. So now that people are finally able to cash out, they're selling some things, taking profits, and pulling their money out and doing whatever they want with it, which is super exciting. And as we have discussed on this channel before, that's the whole cycle. Putting your money in, buying fun collectibles, having those, and the ones that maybe you bought duplicates or whatever it might be, you could sell for profit and take those profits and use it elsewhere. So that's fun too. But that's causing the market to push down. And then the third thing that they announced in this video, which just came out yesterday, is they did a little segment where they showed Amazing Fantasy 15, which is the first appearance of Spider-Man, one of the holy grails of comics. I'm lucky enough to have one right here. And mine is only a 1.8, but there's only around 2,200 blue labels of that comic, so it's pretty exciting to own one. It's an old comic from 1962, and everybody loves Spider-Man, so it's a really good one to have. They are going to be bringing that to the app. They didn't announce when, but they talked about it so much in the video, and they showed off. David, you and Dan both have one of these comics too, which is exciting, and so we know it's coming. We think maybe in the next 2-3 weeks. We don't know, but it's imminent, and there are people now selling things or saving gems for that, which will be a huge drop, mega grail for the app. So it is this perfect storm, and I think, and we've already seen various collectibles move down. I think they'll continue to move down over the next 2 to 3 weeks until AF15 drops. Now, if it doesn't drop in 2 or 3 weeks, maybe we see it start moving back up. Plus, we don't know what's going to happen at San Diego Comic-Con. Maybe they onboard another 2, 3, 4,000 users. And as I've discussed before, when you look at some of the creators that are looking at wallets and other things, there's probably only around 20,000, maybe 30,000 really hardcore users on this app right now. And so if you even add 5,000 or 10,000 more, that's 25% more people. That could cause some of the prices to move up. We don't know. Other things that I've talked about before is once you get a new user, generally speaking, they don't know as much about the company, the project, maybe even NFTs or crypto or anything in general, but they're willing to take a chance. They buy a couple things. You don't generally see that come in and start spending thousands. They might buy a couple commons here and there. So what I'll be watching at San Diego Comic-Con is I'll be watching the kind of A-tier Grail comics, their commons. Because if I was first starting, I would want to get an ASM1. I would want to get an FF5. I would get an MC1, right? But the commons, I don't think I'd be going right to the SRs. So those are some of the ones that will give us an indication what is happening at San Diego. Obviously, there are other creators that are going to be there. I'm sure they'll take film, and so we'll be able to see Veve in the Marvel booth. All of this will be super exciting. So as we can see some of the market that's sliding down, what and how do you, what do we buy? Do we buy everything? Do we go crazy? No. I still think you want to go to your strategy, whether it is buying commons, SRs, some of both. Are you buying A-tier comics? Are you buying collectibles? Are you trying to complete sets? Whatever your strategy is, I think the low prices just allow you to continue to work with that strategy. For myself, as you know, right now, I've been buying a lot of common comics, and I'm going to continue to do that. And I haven't been buying the grails. So in other words, although I love, ASM1, FF5, FF1, all those commons have moved up a little bit. What I have been buying, and you've seen me, is I've been buying more speculative comics in my B tier on VeveRank.com. That's my website, Veve Rank. And so younger, up and coming heroes like Ms. Marvel, America Chavez, NYX3. So those types of comics I've been taking a chance on. I did buy a number of the Venom 3, which is the first appearance of Noel, who's a big bad guy who we may or may not see. Most likely, I think we'll see him perhaps in the Sonyverse. We could also see him kind of cross over to the MCU. So that was one that I've been buying a couple of those commons. And all of these are super cheap. A lot of them are under 5 gems. Some of them are under 4 gems if you're lucky. And so can you take a chance, buy a couple of those? Certainly. And that's what I've been doing. I do think that it's a chance that we will see some of the big grails falling. And we're starting to see that. So in other words, Todd has really continued to fall. And we've seen him as low as 1,800 gems, which is very, very low for him when you look at the last 6, 8, 12 months. He generally hasn't been that low. I think the lowest way, way, way back when I started was around 1,700, maybe 1,500. So he's really fallen. And I think it's all the indicators that we've talked about. So if you're interested in grabbing a Todd or Walt or some of those other ones that are really awesome, this might be the opportunity. It does seem like now that Veve is going to Comic-Con, Cashout is now enabled for everybody, that it feels like this is the time in which we might start pushing on the marketing button, which would bring more users in, which of course would inflate the prices. So I don't ever want to say this is your last chance that you can get some of these grails, but it might be the last chance you can afford some of these grails. The last piece about Cashout that I want to say is that it is this continuous feedback loop when you're dealing with companies that are merging. And that is that you're always wondering, are they going to kind of quote unquote make it, get to mass adoption or whatever these things. And so when they can meet deadlines or overcome difficult hurdles, it always is this feedback loop where you're like, wow, they're continuing to build, they're going to make it. And so I think now that they've gotten over, the 3 big things that I've talked about is they moved to IMX, an entirely new blockchain, which was difficult. They did that back last November. They kind of had this massive bot war, which was, I don't think they've by any means won, but they were able to definitely stop some of the bots. And I think they're going to continue to be able to do that with this new drop system that they're coming out with. And then the third thing is finally this KYC and Cashout. This just opens up the door for their developers to not have to work on those types of things. They can work on other things like MCP and some of the other things they've talked about. One of the things I'd forgotten they mentioned, but they did mention, which could be a very significant piece is it sounds like they're going to do some sort of auctions, and these are going to be really high-end things and could be one of one, which we haven't seen yet on the app. This could bring in an entirely different type of user that really wants to buy high-end, expensive collectibles, and that'll be great for the app too. So it's super exciting. I really, this was a great week for Veve, and it was fun to be a part of it. It's sometimes difficult because, we always don't get good news, but this week there was a lot of good news. I'll be excited to see what happens at San Diego Comic-Con. I appreciate you guys for watching. I'll talk to y'all soon.